Segment 2, Gold and Black Live. It's always good to be in the presence of a legend. We love to embarrass Mark when he's here, but Mark Herrmann joins us on Gold and Black Live. Actually, Kyle and Stacy also, and Brian, are also legendary in their own way, but that's how it works. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alan.
Mark does not need an introduction, but we'll give him a brief one. 1980 first-team All-American, consensus All-American quarterback at Purdue. Left West Lafayette as the NCAA's all-time leading passer, and of course finished fourth in the Heisman Trophy, and enjoyed a NFL career, which with the Colts, the Broncos, the Chargers,
and the Rams.
I forgot about the Rams.
Yeah.
That's
Short
pretty
stint,
good.
Yeah.
He's well traveled, as they say.
Yeah, I was coast to coast.
Yeah,
so
that's all good.
yeah.
That's all good. But and then obviously the exciting news for Purdue people is that he's now back on campus, at least on a daily basis at Krannert. And what about that job, and what's your day job in terms of being involved at Purdue University?
Well, I'm thrilled to be back. It's great to be back on campus. The energy, the excitement, and let's remember I was a student first,
Yeah.
and Krannert was my degree, and so the opportunity to come back and to give back a little bit and to to continue to help that school grow in stature and be able to get the best of the best into the program and to keep the faculty, and all those things are involved in me getting involved with Krannert and to be able to go and reconnect with our alums around the country. So it couldn't have been a better time in my life, and it really I'm thrilled about being back at Purdue and be able to be integrated in again on with this university. So it's all good.
What it will be, I assume, some travel. You're going to be going out to see folks from time to time,
Right.
and that's got to be a fun part of it as well.
Yeah, no question. That's the part I'm looking forward to the most, just to get in front of folks and just kind of see how their experience was and why they went to Purdue, and where their passions lie, and just to be able to just kind of converse and talk about our memories, and if it leads to support, then great. So, and that's my job, is to generate the support and to help that move forward. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We have great alums all over the country, so that'll be a real bonus for me to be able to do that, and so it should be good.
And one of the things, if you're in the chat room, you can certainly ask us questions. We have the first one, which is, I think, probably is from Bart himself. But Mark, how is Bart Burrell doing? Bart Burrell, obviously part of the Carmel connection and he does live in Lafayette, if you don't know. And Bart, one of the great people that you're ever going to run across. But nice that at least you're back in the same town with him. Not that you guys don't see each other a fair amount from time to time.
Well, we have a standing joke. Every time, it's kind of back and forth. Every time Bart sees somebody, they go, "How's Mark?" and whenever I see anybody, "How's Bart?" So, because Bart always thought his middle name was "How's Mark?" It's Bart, how's Mark? So Bart's doing great. We stay in touch a lot. We talk on the phone, once a week, once every couple of weeks, and still my best friend. And so we see each other a lot in the summertime, and we try to get together a fair amount. Now that I'm in town, I'm sure we'll hook up quite a bit more. But and then the stories start. How big a part he was in our offense, and and all the catches, and he was a great player here, no question. So
when you look at Danny Etling and a guy that's is going through the growing pains of being a young quarterback, and you can relate to that, and finding guys you can trust. And you had Bart that you always knew, and Bart wasn't necessarily part of the mix as your freshman year, but as things went on. How important is that for a quarterback to have? You have to have the receivers that can catch the football when you throw it.
Yeah, no question. The chemistry part of it and the comfort level is huge, and that's why we spent so much time with routes and watching film, and it has to become second nature, and you have to be able to trust that person is going to run a 14-yard route, not a 12-yard route, not a 17-yard route, because the passing game is it's so important to be timed and be able to hit that back foot and turn the ball loose. And I know Danny works hard with these receivers, but it's a process, and It may not happen this year, but eventually they're going to get to the point where you can just see the wheels turning, where they're on the same page. And when you get to that point, the passing game can be extremely effective. And I think now they're starting to get to that point, but I don't sense the confidence in the passing game because they're dumping the ball off and you're not getting the big plays down the field. And, we were a big play offense, I felt like, and we moved the ball in chunks. It's so hard to go 5 yards, 7 yards a clip and move all the way down the field because so many things can happen. So if you can get big chunks of yardage in those types of plays, it's going to help you get on the scoreboard. And that's, we had talented receivers. Dave Young was a great tight end, and Bart and Steve Bryant, Mike Harris, Ray Smith, all those guys were terrific players.
You have that opportunity to watch on a week-to-week basis and watch guys evolve. You had to go as a true freshman and play, and you played in your first. You didn't start your first college game, but you certainly threw for almost 300 yards, I think, in the first game against Michigan State. What was that like? I mean, do you feel for those guys that come in as true freshmen and have to make it happen? You made it happen, but you had growing pains too as a true freshman.
Oh gosh, I had
you had 30 interceptions. I told him we wouldn't bring that up, but we did. So
27.
All right, 27. That's right. You've corrected on that before. It's funny how quarterbacks always know.
Oh, we
know
ahead. Our numbers.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. As bad as they were that year, I still know what they are, but. No, that's what I wanted when I came here. I wanted the opportunity to play as a freshman. And when I got in against Michigan State, I was thinking, okay, be careful what you wish for, because that was a tough day and it was a physical day. And we played a very good Michigan State team, and we came up short. And I took a couple of big-time hits. And as you remember, I was not the biggest, sturdiest guy at that point. So I was wondering if I would last for 4 years. But yeah, you learn every week, every game, every week, every experience is a learning opportunity. And yeah, we took our knocks, and we were 5-6 that first year. But boy, did I learn from that year to the next. I mean, we sat down and we watched every play, and to see where I could improve and get better, and how we could grow as a team. And I think that's what Danny's experiencing now. He's not quite there yet, but every game he's getting a little bit better, I believe. So I think it is a tough process, and it's a hard position to play, Alan. And there's so many things involved, and you're facing different defenses and different schemes, and there's pressure on you to make plays. So you've got to just relax. And I saw a little bit of relaxing last week. He didn't seem as tense with the football. Throwing the ball, it's got to be a natural movement. There's craziness in the pocket, and it's like the eye of a storm. But once you get to delivering the football, it's got to be a relaxed motion, just throwing it, not aiming it. And I think he's going to gradually get to that point.
You went through a culture change and you were initially recruited by Alex Agassi. Of course, Jim Young kind of sealed the deal and got you to Purdue. But you were trying to change the direction of a program, and that takes time to do that. What did you learn from that, from 1977 to 78, when you did have that turnaround season? And can you look at what this team might have to relate to trying to really change the direction of a program?
Well, the first thing I realized, we had a lot of talent on that team. This was not devoid of talent when Alex Agassi was here. So it was just a question of getting everything that Coach Young and his staff was trying to portray to us, kind of digesting that for a year. And then we had that whole off season, and we were determined not to let those failures of a year ago creep back in. And so that opening game, our sophomore year against Michigan State, we put everything into that game because we knew it was critical for the confidence and the psyche of this team. And so that's the type of win I'm waiting for this team. They need that one win that says, okay, we're starting to move in that direction. I'm not sure Western Michigan provided that. And I'm not sure if you win tomorrow that would provide it. But still, winning and success breeds success, and I think when we won that first game, we started to believe more. And I was a better quarterback because we were more balanced, I believe, and I started to just relax. And as we say, things slowed down for me a great deal. So yeah, we built on that, and then our players started to make plays. And once we won that first couple games, we started believing, and that's what this team needs to get to: belief in themselves.
How? Purdue at the time in 1977 was ahead of its time you were passing the ball more than the 3 yards in a cloud of dust in the Big Ten at that point in time. But how many light years is it different now than it was then in terms of defenses and what secondaries can do, what the rules are? Is it light year difference, or is it not as much? I mean, the no huddle changes things too, the speed of the game, but
It's a different game, no question. It's sideline to sideline and four wides, empty backfield. We didn't have that. We occasionally.
But you were the first to do the shotgun.
Yes, we did the shotgun, and we did a lot of combination routes, two on one side, and you just kind of read off of one. And so I hate to see it get away from that, because it should be a simple game, and I don't think the game actually has changed that much from opportunity of just blocking and executing and moving the football. But now it's just more short passing game. You try to outnumber some team on one side, or you try to get matchups, and so from that regard, and they're showing a lot of different blitzes and defenses. So yeah, from that standpoint, but it all comes down to hitting the open man and getting separation and getting open and blocking and running the football, and those things will never change, but certainly the schemes have changed over the years.
And Mark, one of Mark's many claims to fame, obviously, is the MVP in 3 consecutive bowl games, and doing it when it counted. Your aspirations, you guys put a lot of effort into trying to make it to the Rose Bowl, and you had a 10-win season in 1979, but fell short. How did you, looking back, and you had some characters, one of them being Pete Quinn, but guys that were highly motivated, and yet you didn't achieve that, but you achieved a lot of things. How did you put that into perspective as you look back at your career?
Yeah, we made a great run at it for 3 straight years. I think we were runner-up maybe 2 of those 3 years, and we didn't play Ohio State the one year that they went to the Rose Bowl, and we won those 10 games. So we knew that we were a really good team. Our junior year, we had a tremendous roster and great leaders and playmakers and coaches and everything. So deep in our hearts, we felt like we were deserving of that Rose Bowl bid. Only one team can go, but we felt like we ended the season. We won 7 straight games, I think, and we wanted to really cap it off with a great win down in Houston. And, at the end of that year, we win 10 games, and little did we know that was going to be the only 10-win season in Purdue history to date. So, and we felt like we were a top 10 team at the end of that year. So, we took solace in that we felt that we were great and we competed, and that's all you can do. I mean, you can only play who's on your schedule and who invited you to a bowl, and back then there were only like 12 bowl games, so it was a big deal to get that opportunity.
And you have the chance to have some momentous games over your career. One team that you seem to pick on more than most was Iowa. I don't know necessarily why. Hayden Fry just getting into Iowa City at that point in time. Is that a thing as quarterbacks study? Is that a natural thing to have happen where you things, again, the game slows down and they do certain things that you know that you can do, or is it just a matter of, will that be something that maybe Danny Etling will look back at 3 years from now and say, these are teams I was able to really pick on because they did certain things?
Yeah, it's natural that some teams you match up better and you have more success. It just felt like Iowa was a great matchup for me. My freshman year, I think I had 5 touchdown passes against them, and then we had a great game out in Iowa City my junior year, and we were banged up, and I think Mike Harris broke his jaw.
By Bob Stoops.
Bob Stoops, good call.
Bob Stoops, yeah.
And we just battled that one and won 14-7, and it was just one of those games you just grind it out, and we pulled away. And then my senior year, it was like, like you're a basketball player, and the basket looks huge to you. You're hitting everything that day. I completed left-handed passes, I think, that day.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like everything I was throwing was going to the right guy, and we had a lot of yards, and we just pummeled Iowa that day. And so, yeah, you're right. I felt like Iowa helped put me in the College Football Hall of Fame because, we had good numbers against them. But, it's odd. Now Iowa's a great program, but at that time they struggled, and it just seemed to kind of bring out the best in our offense.
But if you really look at the way college football is played now and the yards and the passing game, it really did start. And you could build a case it started somewhat with Purdue, in at least in the Big Ten, of throwing the football and getting the opportunity to put up those big yards. All of a sudden, even though Woody Hayes was at the end of his career, all of a sudden those teams started to think about Ohio State. Even Art Schliester started to throw the football some. I mean, do you put that on your resume that you were the birthplace of all the big time yards we see in college football?
Well,
there were others. Brigham Young. There were certainly others,
yeah. But it was a lot more of the Western teams that would throw the ball. We just felt like what we could do to compete in the Big Ten was throw the football. And Coach Young, I mean, he sat in my living room and said, "If you're the guy, we're gonna feature you, and we're gonna build the offense around you." And so, he went out and did his homework and looked at different ways to attack from the passing game standpoint to be able to use my talents. I wasn't going to run the ball, so we're going to be a pocket passing team, and then try to be a balanced attack. So it was kind of a great equalizer at that point. So we were able to attract pretty good receivers. We had good line play, and so all those things combined enabled us to be successful in a very tough physical league that was used to running the football. So I think they weren't used to defending the pass from sideline to sideline. So we attacked the edges as much as vertically, and we end up with great success.
I have time for a couple more questions. One, just in the caliber of, I think your class, your group from 77 to 80, really a very unique group of people. They've all gone on to be not all, but most have gone on to be very successful, had great careers outside of football. You talk about the Rose Bowl team back in the 60s, even the Drew Brees era. These are unique guys. I'm trying to segue into, your role at Cranor, but also the kind of guys that you need to have. Darrell Hazel's trying to recruit captains, trying to recruit first quality individuals. Is that a key formula, I think, for Purdue?
Absolutely, Alan. You've got to have great competitors, great leaders. Pete Quinn's as good a leader as there is. He was a fine center. Really, I started 4 years, and you trusted Pete, and you trusted Bart, you trusted Keena Turner and Kevin Motz. All these guys love to play the game. And that's the kind of guy you need that loves to play the game. And I know you were talking about intensity and emotion. It's just got to be guys that would play in front of 5 people or 100,000 people. You've got to go out there on Saturday, and if the stadium's half full tomorrow, you've got to generate your own emotion. And that's what we did. We love to play the game. We love to play for each other, and we're still close to this day. And we felt like there was a bond, and we were gonna battle, and it was you only get to play it so many times, so we felt so privileged to go out there and play for each other every Saturday, and we had playmakers too, and so when you combine that chemistry and the ability to make plays, you're going to have a pretty successful program, and it all started with Jim Young. He was unbelievably intense and a visionary and a motivator, and so we all fed off of him, but we had great leaders, great people, and that's where it starts.
All right, last question. Cradle of Quarterbacks, of which you are a member, most certainly. And you lived in Indiana before, and obviously grew up in Carmel. Outside of yourself, and we'll allow Drew Brees to be in there, but who were some of your favorites when you look back before you and after you that you really enjoyed watching them play? And I know Drew will be one of them probably, but how could he not be?
Yeah.
But outside of Drew Brees,
Well, it all started with Len Dawson. I used to live out in Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas, and I was a big Chiefs fan, so I watched Len every week, and he was, I think, my original favorite quarterback to begin with, and then over the years, Joe Montana, even though he haunted us that freshman year, but the ability to win in the big games, he's got 4 Super Bowls, and the guys that competed at a high level, a guy like Ken Anderson was kind of under the radar, but very cerebral, very efficient, productive. So I just enjoy watching. You can get it done in a lot of different ways. You don't like Drew. He's not the biggest prototypical player, but he gets every ounce of ability out of himself, and so he plays at a maximum effort. So those kind of guys that do the most with what they've been given, I admire them a lot. But it's a complex position. It's tough. It's pressure, and there's competitiveness in it. So. But you can do it from a lot of different ways, and you can still win football games. So.
All right, Mark Herrmann, thanks so much. Now, because this will be a first for our show in 6 years, we're giving parting
Wow.
gifts, but the Hammer Down Cancer shirt, which will be a part of the Purdue Purdue, Michigan State week and the Michigan State game, Hammer Down Cancer. And Mark, you're a jogger and you're in such good shape. This will be perfect for you, but I'll pass this along. We'll be giving these away the next 2 weeks.
Thank
A parting
you.
gift.
I appreciate
I feel
that very much.
good
yeah.
about that.
I know I can't keep up with you, though. You're
No,
quite the
I
runner.
don't know about
yeah,
that.
I've been chasing you every cancer challenge,
Yeah,
but I can't
well, that's
catch
because
up.
I'm really fast. So, hey, Mark, thanks so
Hey,
much,
my
and
pleasure.
appreciate your
Thank
time
you.
very much. And
Great
we
to
will
be
come
here.
back, bring Kyle Charters and Brian Newbert for our final segment of Gold and Black Live.